Hey there, Dolphin Doug. I'm going to tell you the story of why pets aren't welcome in Juneau. Now, I'm standing out in the parking lot. Mendenhall Glacier is behind the trees. Nugget Falls, you can't hear it because it's behind the trees. If you look down at the ground, you can see lots of dog tracks. I got a trail over here. It's got more dog tracks. There are lots of pets in Juneau. Now, I'm going to start out by saying I'm pro pet. I just saw a woman. I was walking down the trail as I was getting set up to do something else, and as I walked by, I said, two things in this world that make, I can't remember the proper wording, but she had a kid and she had a dog, dogs and kids, and so we both laughed at that a little bit. She probably thinks I'm weird, but she wouldn't be the only one. Anyway, my family has lots of pets, has always had lots of pets. And to give it some context, I don't want you to think I'm bragging or exaggerating, but we've got a minivan. And you know how some people like to put stickers on the back window showing all the people and maybe animals they have in their family? Well, I was standing in a parking lot, and two women that I knew that didn't know I was standing there, they're standing behind my car, and they looked at the car, and one of the women said to the others, "Oh, that can't be real. Nobody has that many." And the other woman said, "No, that's Dolphin Doug's family." She didn't use that word, but you catch the drift. And the first woman said, "Oh, that makes sense. We don't fit in a minivan. We're not even going to go into the dogs and the cats, etc. We've got lots of different critters." Now, my story of why pets aren't welcome in Juneau, it's got a long history. It used not to be the case. So we've got an animal shelter here that is a spay or neuter shelter. Their policy is if an animal comes in, they're going to spay or neuter it before it goes out. It's been that way the whole time I've been here, since 1993. So the number of pets that are, dogs and cats particularly, that are born unexpectedly, unwanted litters, is very, very small. So as a consequence, that shelter didn't have all that much business, and they were actually doing a doggy daycare where they would get these wonderful young people that put half a dozen dogs on leashes and go run them up and down a couple of miles on the sidewalks. It's just a great thing to see, and people would pay them for that. It's sometimes hard to get out when you're walking, when you don't have a good yard where you want your dog to be out and enjoy themselves. So, we get out of our animals, we spay or neuter most of our animals. I mean, our thing is not having puppies, but I do need to say that there is a bit to that, in that during my off season, I just came back from it actually, but I spend time in West Tennessee, and we've got a piece of property there, and I have an Amish family that was our caretakers, and so we had an old barn in the back of the place, and about 6 years ago or so, my daughter and I went down there early, and she went back into the barn, and lo and behold, in the manger, she found a litter of kittens. Yes, it's just as adorable as it sounds. They had just opened their eyes, and she was the first one to know that they were there. And so the rest of my family came in, and we got to watch these kittens get more rambunctious. And eventually they started popping out of the manger like popcorn. And what happened, and we couldn't decide what to do. This is West Tennessee. Every single shelter is full. They've got lots of no-kill shelters. They're all full. They have kill shelters. Well, we're not about to take our kittens to the kill shelter. We don't want that many kittens on our property. We're trying to figure this out. And so what happened is one of those kittens, the Amish farmer, he had a couple of beautiful Belgian draft horses, along with 3 or 4 other horses as well. And one of those big, beautiful, calm as can be Belgians stepped on a kitten and killed it. So my family said, that's it. We took all of those kittens, brought them all back to Juneau, got them all spayed or neutered. And when we showed up at the animal shelter and told them that story, they were so excited because they hadn't had kittens for so long, and they had a waiting list that was a mile long. So those kittens disappeared out in the community, and we're so happy we actually ended up keeping one, but that's just the nature of my family. And now, so that's the way it used to be, just 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. Well, the pandemic changed everything, and there started being a shortage of veterinarians, and then the veterinarians we had were being overworked, and somebody has to be a vet during the after hours, and so the vets were working together cooperatively, but the situation came to such a way that just last year, I think it was actually January, February, Marchish of this year, one of those vets shut down. They just decided it wasn't worth it. They had been trying. My wife, with all of our animals that we have, she knows all of the vets on a first name basis, and she knew for years they'd been trying to recruit people to come in here. And when they couldn't get people, they charged extra money to for all the stuff, and so it was really expensive to have an animal. And they would bring in vets from out of town, and then they wouldn't stay. And it wasn't a matter of how much people are charging. It's almost as if with animals, it costs as much as it does to have a kid to do the medical care for your animal. And I met a woman on a walk. She had a $7,000 dog because she'd gone on a walk and some other dog had attacked it, and she took it into the vet, and it was a $7,000 bill. So today, in the latter part of 2022, our animal shelter is completely plugged with animals. I have a friend that had a litter of puppies. She can't find anybody that wants them because she didn't see that change happen. So it's not like it used to be when we brought the kittens up. We don't have enough room just like the rest of the world. So that's the story of why Juneau isn't really welcome to animals, pets.